आलवशादिह sakalam karunam samayadipate akilam karunam. Good morning everyone.
Good morning.
So to all of you here and as Vipul said, to many of you who are elsewhere in different parts of the state, this aspiration to become a leader, there are various levels of leadership in any given society. I think we as a nation, though we are an extremely rich talent pool in this country, we've not been able to become what we should have become, or the potential of the nation in many ways remains unrealized. One and only cause for this has been we did not generate the necessary leadership in various levels of society. Leadership does not mean just the Prime Minister, Chief Minister and that kind. Yes, they're also needed, but a society needs leaders at various levels. We have this in our country. Whenever a good leader comes up, people will start worshipping him or her. A leader does not need worship. A leader needs traction of many layers of leadership to translate the vision that he or she may hold into action. In this aspect, we have been seriously lacking. Probably it's a consequence of nearly 1,000 years of being occupied. When you're an occupied nation, you learn to put your head down and get back home, not standing up for anything. Because in any sense, if you became a leader in an occupied nation, if you put your head up, you would lose your head. So slowly you develop a wisdom, never put your head up, just slink back to home, don't confront any problems. Leadership means daily looking out for problems and confronting them. If you avoid problems, there will be no leadership. Unfortunately, we have built that culture into this country. It is only now that many of you, and in many ways all of us, are a generation which we are born in a free India. We don't have to carry that legacy of fear, that if I put my head up, my head will go. Today, almost every leader in the country, for the first time we have a Prime Minister who's born in free India. This is the first one, I think. So, now this is a new generation. We have to think differently. We have to understand this is our nation. This is not a place to avoid problems. This is a place to solve every problem that we see and every problem that we foresee. So we need leadership on many layers of society. From a homemaker to a panchayat leader, to a grocer, to a rickshaw driver, up like this. We need leaders because if you are coming in touch with, let's say, 10 people in a day, the choice that you have is this: either you impact them positively, or you impact them negatively, or you let it pass by. This is a choice that every one of us have. Whoever we meet, either we impact them positively or negatively or let it just pass by. If you impact them positively, that's called leadership. If you impact them negatively, that's called crime. If you let it pass by, that is called half a human being. There are too many half human beings whose involvement with life is only 50%. If it's convenient, they will be there. Not convenient, they will just vanish. With this, we will not breed leadership. I'm talking about breeding leadership because it doesn't just pop up from somewhere. We need a culture where everybody stands up for what's right, everybody stands up for what needs to be done. Only then leaders will rise. There are two kinds of leaders. One is a systemic leader, another is a charismatic leader. A systemic leader is expected to deliver what is expected of everybody. A charismatic leader is expected to deliver something that nobody expected. Right now, all of you aspiring to be into the administrative services means you want to become systemic leaders. This is a very important part of leadership because being a democracy, chief ministers, prime ministers, this minister, that minister, they will come and go. We don't know whether they're 5 years or 10 years or 2 years, we don't know their span of leadership. But there is another band of leadership which stays there for a solid 25 to 30 years. It is this leadership which makes a real difference for a nation. This is what the administrative services mean, this is what the businesses mean. Business leadership, social leadership, bureaucratic leadership is very significant because their ability to influence the nation is long-term. They are definitely there for 25 to 30 years. And that is a considerable amount of time to make a difference. 5 years is not a considerable enough time to make a big difference for a developing nation like India. These 4-year terms, 5-year terms are okay when we have become a developed nation. But for a developing nation, 4 years, 5 years is not good enough time to make a serious difference. So in many ways, the bureaucracy, knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or unconsciously, they're running the nation. But I feel largely unconsciously. A whole lot of them. There are fabulous officers in the country. At the same time, a large segment of officers have not realized what is the difference they can make. They're just trying to fulfill their little responsibility of that department. They're not taking on a way of creating a nation, but that is the role that is there. So what leadership requires is, I'll try to make it very simple, considering the time. There are three fundamental elements. If you want to be a leader, you need insight, you need inspiration, and you need integrity. Insight means you're able to see something that others are not able to see. Because leadership means in some way you are allowed to sit on a perch at a higher place than where everybody else is sitting, like all of you are, right, with reference to me. Once you sit at a higher perch, you must see better than others. If you sit up there and don't see better than people who are down there, you will become an object of ridicule. You sit up there but you don't see any better, this is no good. Once you sit up there, you must be able to see something better. If you want to see things as they are, if you want to have insight into a living situation, the most important thing is that you are able to see everything just the way it is. The problem with most human beings is they like this, they don't like that, they love this, they don't love that, this, that, many things. I want you to understand this. If you love a person, you will exaggerate, that's the only way you can love them. Yes? When you tell yourself, I love this person, what you do is, you exaggerate all the wonderful qualities of that person and make an angel out of them. That is why it leads to such disillusionment after some time, because you exaggerate. Without exaggeration, most people are not able to appreciate people just the way they are. They have to exaggerate. If you don't like somebody or if you hate somebody, you also exaggerate the negativities of that person. If you like, if you dislike, you exaggerate. Exaggerate means you are not seeing things the way they are. If you want to be a leader, the most important thing is you simply see everything the way it is. Most human beings, I would say 99% of the human beings don't see things the way they are. They see according to their thought and emotion. They do not see things just the way they are. You can figure your way through any situation only because of your clarity of vision, not because of fanciful emotion. If you want to walk through this, find a way through this and go, you must see very clearly. But today, unfortunately, people are being taught to be confident. Confidence without clarity is a disaster. There are too many people like this. They have a lot of confidence and no clarity. They are disastrous. Confidence is not a substitute for clarity. If you see things clearly, you will walk through life efficiently and in a competent manner. If you have confidence, sometimes yes, things will happen. It's like this. Let's say there's a busy highway where traffic is moving at a certain speed, but you have a lot of confidence. Usually people get confidence because they got slogans inside them. You know, they may be religious or otherwise. Let's say whatever your slogan is, whether you are a Jai Shri Ram person or Allahu Akbar or Hail Mary, something. You do one thing, say your slogan and run across the road. You may make it just by sheer chance or because of the compassion of some driver. But every day if you try, we know where to pick you up. Yes or no? If you have clarity of vision, you don't need confidence. Confidence is a bloody wrong thing to do. Especially when you say, I'm a leader, this means every thought, every emotion, every action that you generate is going to impact millions of people. When such a privilege is placed, you have to work upon yourself. If you think the work that you're taking on is important, the most important thing in your life is you work upon yourself. If you don't work upon yourself, just by sheer confidence you become a leader. Too many disastrous leaders have been there on this planet. Leaders have caused more damage than well-being most of the time. A few leaders have brought enormous well-being, others have been a disaster. Without them, the populations would have done better in many parts of the world. Yes or no? Without any leader, people would have somehow managed. With leaders, we've been disaster because too much bravado, no clarity. When we say inspiration, because a leader means you are willing to take a larger chunk of life in your hands than most people are willing to handle. Being a leader does not mean power. Being a leader means a certain level of sacrifice because your life is no more about yourself. It's constantly about other people. You know, like just a month and a half or 2 months ago, I was at our center in United States and I was talking to all the residents there. Suddenly somebody was telling me, you know, that they have moods and they're not able to do this and that because their mood is not okay. I just thought, I have never had a bloody mood of my own. All the time I've been busy managing other people's moods. I thought, oh, I must also have some mood, I must take something and throw at somebody, do something, have a mood. I never had a mood in my life, just always making myself as it is necessary for the situation that I'm in. No mood of my own. And this is freedom. that you don't have any moods. You can fit into any situation, any time of the day or night. This is leadership. This is inspiration. Because without inspiration, you can't make people walk with you. I was conducting a 2-day event for the 25 top executives of Microsoft. I had 9 volunteers. If you don't already know this, we are a volunteer organization with over 3,600 full-time volunteers and over 3 million part-time volunteers. Everything is done by volunteers. So, I had 9 volunteers to do this event. So our volunteers are going about doing everything, nobody manages them, they just go on doing their best. So they look at it like this and they ask, Sadhguru, where do you get such people? You know, they are always looking for attrition. I said, you don't get them, you got to make them. Oh, how do you make them? I said, you have to make them fall in love with you. Oh, how do we make them fall in love with us? I said, first you have to fall in love with them. Oh, they don't pay us for that. Now, if you don't show a tremendous sense of involvement with people around you, genuine involvement, why would they involve their life with you? And if they are not involved, they're just doing something for you, believe me, they'll take your life every day. People who are not involved with you, if they're in close proximity, they will take your life. Yes or no? If you keep people close around you, they must be involved, very profoundly involved with you. Only then it's comfortable to have people around you constantly. If they're not involved and they're around you, people can be hell. So inspiration is a key element. If you do not know how to inspire yourself propel yourself into action with inspiration, and if you do not know how to inspire others with your actions, then leadership is the most burdensome thing. You will see today people climb into leadership positions and crack up mentally. Today it's become normal. A whole lot of CEOs, by the time they're 40, doctors are surprised if you don't have a cardiac problem, if you've not been depressed, if you are not on sleep medication, they think something wrong with you. Because you're supposed to crack up. You will crack up if you do not know how to make everybody fall in love with you, and nobody is willing to fall in love with you unless you are willing to throw your life at them. The third one is integrity, because where there is no integrity, there will be no trust. Where there is no trust, again, life will become extremely torturous if you live among people who don't trust you. And if you live among people that you don't trust, it's even worse. Yes or no? The moment you don't trust people around you, it's hell, isn't it? So integrity is a very integral part. But unfortunately, I find integrity is a serious problem in the country. Too many people are innocent of integrity. They don't know what it means. They can do anything without any sense of… I've had the misfortune of moving in close proximity with various leaders. I have seen some truly fabulous leaders, but I have watched so many other leaders with enormous pain because the nation in so many ways is in their hands. Still, this is a country where 60% of the people have not eaten properly, forget about anything else. Here there is a different sense of responsibility, there is a different sense of urgency about this nation. But if you spend 24 hours with some leaders, it amazes me and it used to scare me that in 24 hours they don't get a single thought, what can I do for the country today? Not a single thought in their mind. But Because people have mastered either how to pass IAS or how to win an election. They've learned the trick and they've gotten there. And they're somehow going on. But this is a privilege. Being a leader is a privilege. It is not a power. It is not some kind of fancy. It's a privilege that other people place their life in your hands. Because after all, if you do any physical activity in the world, you want to touch people's lives as profoundly as possible. You don't want to write a book that nobody reads. You don't want to make a cinema that nobody will watch. You don't want to build a building nobody wants to live in. You want to touch people's lives with activity. Why most people are clinging only to one entity called family and rest they are divorced from the rest of humanity is because that is the only place where there is little touch. Rest of the places they're walking around like stones. They're walking on the street like inanimate objects. When they come home, they open up their windows little bit. Little love affair happening. What is the problem? Can't you walk on the street in a loving manner? Hello?
Yes.
I'm asking you. Can't you walk on the street in a loving manner? Can't you look at a tree in a loving manner? Can't you look at a man, woman, child, animal in a loving manner? Can't you look up at the sky in a loving manner? I'm asking you. Because love does not mean doing something with somebody. Love simply means the way you are, isn't it? A certain sweetness of emotion within you. Because once your emotion is on, your body and your mind follows it. Otherwise, you will have to concentrate. Concentration is like a concentration camp, suffering. Once your emotion is on to something, your mind follows that, your body follows that. Yes or no? Putting your emotion into what you really care for is most important, because once your emotion sticks there, everything else follows. It happened one day. You know, we live at the foothills of Velangiri Hills, and an old yogi came. In the afternoon, he wants to go up. It's a hard climb. He's over 80 years of age. The local youth saw him and said, "Hey, old man, you think you can climb this mountain? Do you know how tall it is? Look at you how you are. You going to climb this mountain?" He looked at them and smiled and he said, "It's just that I have already put my heart there. The rest of the body will anyway follow. That's all. If you put your heart out there, the rest will follow. On the way, so many things may come, a highway may come, a thorny path may come, a jungle may come, a ocean may come. It doesn't matter what comes, somehow it will get there." Right now, what is happening in the world is, I'm sure people must be doing these lectures to you, ambition. Ambition means you are working on your desire, but you're not working on your competence. Your desire will not get you there. Desire will only orient us. Desire will not get you there, but it is your competence which gets you there, isn't it? If you work on your competence, you put your heart out there and you simply work on your competence. This ambition business is, you got one eye on the goal, one eye here. In yoga, we say this, there is in the yogic code, there is a story. If you fix one eye on the goal, you have only one eye to find your way, that is an inefficient way. If you use both your eyes to find the way, it is a more efficient way. Yes or no? And what kind of leadership do people deserve? There was a great sage by the name Ashtavakra. You heard of him? Eight forms of deformity he had in his body. That means he almost did not have a human form. So he was the source of knowledge for King Janaka. And there are many fantastic stories between the two of them. Anyway, I'll skip those things. And Janaka became fully enlightened. When he became fully enlightened, he said, what will I do with this kingdom? I don't want to live in this palace, this family, all this not needed for me. I'm going to come and just live at your feet. Ashtavakra said, no, you must go back to your palace, to your kingdom and your kinghood. It is not about your fancy where you want to be. It is just that the people deserve an enlightened king. So you have to get back. Because the people definitely deserve an enlightened leadership on all levels. Serious ignorance has ruled the world in many stages. Serious ignorance has ruled our country at many points, and immense suffering has come to people. As I said, there is no greater suffering than poverty. We have kept a large mass of people in this level. Though we are one nation on the planet who can grow food 12 months of the year, an enormous culture of over 10,000–12,000 years, immense knowledge. Knowledge just doesn't flow from the books that you read, there is a samskara which flows through every one of us, a certain level of intellect in this country, but still we are not able to solve these simple problems because we have seriously failed with leadership. This, as I said, is a hangover from being an occupied nation. We are no more an occupied nation. So, you have no right to do bandh in this nation, you have no right to burn a bus in this nation because it's your bus and it's your country. This is not a place to throw stones at somebody because it's your property. Yes? This is our country. This needs care, this needs concern, this needs competence, this needs commitment. This is what you need to come up with, a serious commitment to create something. People always keep asking me, Sadhguru, what do you think will be the future of India? So I ask them, do you want a plan, do you want a prediction or a plan? Those who have made themselves incapable of a plan, they are looking for a prediction. Yes? People who have become incapable of planning something and executing that plan, such people are looking at the stars and the other planets and saying, what is the prediction? This is a serious problem. We are too interested in other planets and very little interest in this planet. This is a serious problem. If you are little more interested in this planet, if you are interested in those planets, you must go there and become a leader. Only if you are interested in this planet, you must become a leader here. Yes? If you are interested in this planet. But I tried to become a leader, but these people, there is somebody corrupt, there is somebody is doing this, there's somebody pulling my leg, all kinds of things. We being an all-volunteer organization, every day I have complaints like this, Sadhguru, I can't work with this person, oh, impossible she is. And I tell them, see, in this world, this is the kind of people we have. Whether you like them, you don't like them, this is the kind of people we have. If you want to work with ideal people, you must go to heaven. Today. But if you're interested in doing something here, you got to work with these people, all these horrible people, you have to work with them because they are your kind. Yes? If you don't like these people, you must go to that ideal place somewhere up there, we don't know where the hell it is, but you can try. You know what's the qualification to go to heaven? No. This happened in a Sunday school in Alabama. Sunday school teacher in great enthusiasm was asking little kids, what do you have to do to go to heaven? Little Mary stood up and said, if I scrub the church floor every Sunday, I will go to heaven. The teacher said, correct. Another little girl stood up and said, if I share my pocket money with my friend, I will go to heaven. He said, correct. Another little boy said, if I do service to people who are in need of it, I will go to heaven. He said, correct. Little Tommy, who was in the back bench there, said, you got to die first. That's the first qualification. You got to die first. So if you are interested in ideal people, you got to die first. If you are with the living, there is not a single ideal person. Have you realized this, or are you still hoping for that? Huh? You're asking the young girls, you still looking for that man on a knight on the white horse, an ideal guy? Or you given up on that? No, there is no ideal person. If we commit ourselves to something, we can transform people around us into willing, wonderful human beings. If we don't, then you will see people who looked wonderful today, tomorrow will turn horrendous in your life. Yes or no? So there are no wonderful people, there are no horrible people. It's for us to make them into wonderful response or horrendous response to us. For this, one thing and one thing that you must do is, you have become a wonderful person. You becoming a wonderful person means what? When do you feel wonderful? Please tell me. Hello? You become very serious. It's a serious problem. When do you feel wonderful in your life?
When I'm full of love and when things go your way, so you feel good and become wonderful.
What does that mean?
When things go your way, so you feel good and you feel wonderful.
Oh, then it's a rare thing. Somebody said something else.
When I'm full of love.
Full of love, what does that mean? Who is it falling out of your ears? What is full of love?
When I am what I am.
No, no. When do you feel wonderful?
When the people around you are wonderful to you.
Oh, then it's a very rare happening.
Full of sacrifice.
What ma?
Full of sacrifice.
Full of sacrifice. Then the goats on Sunday morning should be feeling wonderful.
Be positive.
You are reading those books, huh? No, just tell me experientially, when do you feel wonderful?
I feel wonderful when I'm happy.
Yeah, when you are joyful, you feel wonderful, isn't it? How you became joyful, it doesn't matter. What made you joyful, it doesn't matter. Whether because you loved somebody you became joyful, or everybody is serving you, so you became joyful, or you're sacrificing yourself, so you became joyful, it doesn't matter. When you are joyful, you're feeling wonderful, isn't it? It's a pleasantness of experience. When I say pleasantness, there are many ways to look at this. One thing is, if your body becomes pleasant, we call this health. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it pleasure. If your mind becomes pleasant, we call this peace. If it becomes very pleasant, we call this joy. If your emotion becomes pleasant, we call this love. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it compassion. If your very life energies become pleasant, we call this bliss. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it ecstasy. If your surroundings become pleasant, we call it success. Only to make the surroundings pleasant, you need the cooperation of many people and forces around you. But all the other things are your business, yes or no? To keep the body pleasant, mind pleasant, emotion pleasant, energies pleasant, is it your business or other people have to do it for you? I'm just asking you, are you an old ambassador car which needs a push start, or are you self-start? You know, we had cars like this every day in the morning, we have to push it, otherwise it won't start. Is your happiness like this, I'm asking? Somebody has to push it. If you have to be happy, everybody in the universe have to change. You will never be happy. Yes? How you are within yourself is your business, yes or no? Is it your business? Is it your responsibility how you are within yourself? So if you are given a choice, either you can be blissful or miserable, what is your choice for yourself? You must choose right now, I'm going to bless you. What is your choice for yourself? Blissful. What you want for your neighbor may be debatable, but what you want for yourself is very clear, isn't it? If it is so clear, why is it that it's not happening? Simply because no tools in the hand. When I say no tools, see, right now there is a little screw in this furniture. I will ask you to come and remove the screw. You can use all your 10 fingers, of course you will lose the nails. I will allow you to use your teeth, you will lose a few of them. Many things will happen, but the screw won't come. If I give you a tiny little screwdriver, in a minute you will get it out, isn't it? This is the power of the tool. Human beings, as human beings, we are who we are on this planet only because of our ability to use tools, isn't it? As there are tools to transform external situations, we have tools to transform inner situations. Only if you have the right tools can you transform yourself effortlessly. Otherwise, what is a simple process looks like an impossible thing. Looks like an impossible process simply because you don't have the necessary tools. So subjective tools have been the USP of this nation for thousands of years. That this nation, this culture focused on inner well-being of the human being for a long period of time. We have the knowledge, we have the technology as to how to transform our interior situation. The sciences, external sciences, we need them to transform the outside situation. But however transform the outside situation is, if you do not transform the inner situation, your experience of life will not be good. If you want to use examples, one society which has experienced maximum amount of external well-being for the longest period of time is the European society. For nearly 200 years, they have been an affluent part of the world. How they got there are many stories, we'll leave that. But somehow they got there. But today, 38% of the European population is depressed. 350 million people every year are on some kind of psychological medication. You don't call this well-being, isn't it? You're living in a palace, but every day you're thinking of killing yourself. Do you call that well-being, I'm asking you? I'm saying that is where human beings will get if they just focus on fixing the outside situations. As we fix the outside, we also have to fix the inside. This is happening in India also, beginning to happen already. For example, in Tamil Nadu, which generally is considered little better off state compared to many northern states, 42% of the Tamil population right now is going diabetic. And we have the highest alcohol sales in the country. So if you become reasonably affluent, either you will land in the hospital bed or in the gutter. This is not well-being, isn't it? Because for a nation, for a society, for a massive population, well-being will come only when we balance external well-being with inner well-being. If these two things are not managed properly, then we will see a skewed society. External well-being does not come free. It comes at an enormous cost to every other creature on this planet. We have to address this in a serious manner in this country because right now we are starting we are the largest ecological movement in southern India, actually in Asia, but now we are focusing on rejuvenating Indian rivers because Indian rivers on an average, year on year, they're depleting 8% per year. Tell me how many years do you have for all the rivers to vanish? It's a matter of 16 to 20 years. In 1947, how much water we had per capita, today we have only 18% of that. By 2025, we will have only 7% of that. That means you must be ready for a bottle bath. You don't carry bottle just for drinking. This is your bath water also. That's where we're going. I'm saying it doesn't matter what we do. If we do not address a few fundamentals, then in this country, our children and their children cannot live well. And this will come to the entire world at some point. But this is important because right now, human beings are in a compulsive mode of action. We are not doing what is needed. We are doing something because we can't keep quiet. Because we are in pursuit of our happiness. Instead of being in pursuit of happiness, if your life becomes an expression of joy, you're joyful by your own nature, then you will do what's needed. If you're in pursuit of happiness, you will do all kinds of things, whether it is needed or not. We have to shift the humanity from pursuit of happiness to expression of happiness or joy. If this doesn't happen, we will rip the planet apart because today, our capabilities compared to what people were capable of 1,000 years ago, we're almost superhuman, isn't it? Yes or no? Because of science, empowered by science and technology, what 10,000 men used to do 1,000 years ago, today a single man can do. Because of this, it becomes very, very necessary that the inner well-being of the human being is addressed first. I would say, before you step into your life, before you touch other people's lives, you must first fix this. Before you touch another human being, this must be in a good place, isn't it? A leader means you will be touching lot of lives. Before you touch others' lives, you must make sure that your interiority is in a certain level of well-being. When you are feeling pleasant, when you are joyful, if I meet you, I'm sure you're a wonderful human being. But if I happen to meet you when you're angry, when you're frustrated, when you're miserable, when you're depressed, you can be a nasty human being, isn't it? This is true with you, this is true with every human being. About 20% of our time, resource and energies are spent in the prisons, both in India and outside. People keep telling me, Sadhguru, why are you spending time with these criminals? We are waiting, we don't even get to see you, but you are spending so much time with the criminals. I don't see any criminals. All I see is, I see human beings who are in pursuit of happiness. The man that you call as a criminal is also in pursuit of his happiness, it is just that he pursues his happiness far more vigorously than you. You're willing to stand in a line, he jumps the line. That's all that makes him a criminal. Yes or no? That's all it is. He is also in pursuit of happiness, you are also in pursuit of happiness, but he is going faster than you. He's breaking speed limits. What you earn in 1 month, he wants to get it in 1 minute. Speed is what makes him criminal, isn't it? But both of you want the same thing or no? So, the moment you are in pursuit of happiness, it's a certain crime. Whether it is socially recognized or not, whether there is a law against it or not right now, but it is a crime because in some way we are going to be in confrontation with many lives around us. What is crime, what is not crime is decided by what times we are living in. For example, in Tamil Nadu, traditionally it is said, A real man. A real man means Ayira Ane Konnavan. What this means is, a man who has slain 1,000 elephants, he is a real man. Well, Veerappan got almost halfway, but we shot him dead. Wrong timing. If he had come 1,000 years ago, they would have celebrated him as a great hero. Wrong timing, he came too late. Yes or no? Another time, people would have worshipped him for killing the number of elephants that he killed. But 20th century, wrong timing for Ayira Ane Konnavane. So, what is crime, what is not crime in a society may be determined by the time and the laws of the time, but that is not the important thing. As a human being, are you in conflict with every life around you? Or are you in tune with every life around you? This is the important thing that you have to see, whether there's a law against it or not, it doesn't matter. What is not a crime today may become a crime tomorrow, isn't it? Right now, there was no crime cutting a tree 25 years ago. Today we are desperate, now cutting a tree is a crime, isn't it? Even beating an animal is a crime, they'll arrest you today for that, which was perfectly okay some time ago. So, that is not the point. We don't have to go by the existing IPC, that's for the criminals. For a normal person, you must see how you're not in conflict with any life around you, including yourself. When I say including yourself, if you are causing unhappiness to yourself, if you are causing misery to yourself, if you are causing suffering to yourself, you're obviously against yourself, isn't it? Once you are able to torture yourself, invariably you will also be an expert in torturing others. First thing is you have to learn that you don't torture this life. You keep this life 24 hours in a beautiful condition. If you keep this in a beautiful condition, I am guaranteed with you that you will be a beautiful person to every other human being and to every other life. If you have questions, please, any kind of question. Yes, there's the boy at the back.
Sir, you have not elaborated on the specific tools to do that.
The tools are subjective in nature. They will need a much more committed atmosphere. This is too casual to transmit tools, because if it's a screwdriver, I would have given it to you. But this is a subjective tool. For this you need a more committed atmosphere. If you create a more committed atmosphere, we will do that for you. This is too casual to do that. We could have done something, some little thing, but they fixed a time limit on me. Please.
Sir, how do you look at the thing like today most of the intellectuals are ready to go for a bureaucratic kind of leadership and the society too supports it. But whenever an individual or a guy tries to move towards a kind of political leadership or kind of a social thing, these things are seen as a waste of time or something like that.
That depends on the kind of friends you have around you. There are a whole lot of people who are moving into political leadership. People around them don't see it's waste of time. They're gathering around them. More people are gathering around an aspiring political leader than an aspiring bureaucrat, yes or no? So obviously, those people don't see it as waste of time. They see that it is a possibility. Unfortunately, a lot of people see that it's a possibility for them to milk the nation. But there is a lot of enlightened leadership in this country also, where for many people, leadership does not mean how they can grab and run. Leadership means how they can transform, how they can create them. There still are many leaders, otherwise the nation wouldn't exist, okay? There still are, but not enough. For that, a young man like you should stand up.
Namaste Guruji. We talked about pursuit of happiness. My question is, if we do not try at various things,
right?
If we do not try at various things, then how do we know that this thing is joyful or not?
Okay. So by the time you try everything, life will be over, because it's a bloody brief life, you know. You're very young right now, but you may think it's a long life. It is not, I'm telling you. You ask me. I feel like I was born day before yesterday and it's already over, all right? Not over, but… So, this is what I want you to get. Please listen carefully. What I'm telling you is… What's your name? Tejal? If you feel happy right now, let's say if you feel happy, does it come to you like this from heaven or does it come from within you? If you feel miserable, does it rain upon you from hell or does it come from within you? Within you. So whether it is joy or misery, pain or pleasure, whatever, only comes from within you, right? What is within you must happen the way you want it, isn't it? The world will not happen your way entirely, never. The world will not happen your way. Not one single person in your life, I'm warning you right now. Not one single person in your life will happen 100% your way. Don't wait for that person. Nobody will happen 100% your way. 51% your way, you're winning. Yes? 51% they're happening your way means you're doing great. 100% no. So nobody will happen 100% your way. This 1% must happen your way 100%, isn't it? If this person happened 100% your way, would you keep this Tejal joyful or miserable? Joyful. If you keep yourself joyful, whatever the hell you do, it will be joyful, isn't it? Because what is within you, you're trying to extract from outside. That is the crime. That is why life is in excess all the time. Everybody is doing everything in excess because what is within them, they're trying to extract from outside. So, how will I get here? How long will it take? Someone came looking for Isha Yoga Center in South India. They came to a local village and they asked a boy who was sitting there, "How far is Isha Yoga Center?" He said, 24,996 miles. They said, "What, that far?" He said, "Yeah, the way you're going, if you turn around it's 4 miles. So what is here, if you try to get it there, it is an endless path. Up and down, up and down, up and down. If you see the source of generating experience, is it within you or hanging out there? Every experience, joy or misery, pleasant or unpleasant, is it being generated from within or outside? From within. So if you take charge of it, you will generate the experience that you want. If you're generating joy, tell me, just looking at this flower can become an extremely joyful process. No flower, closing your eyes and sitting will become extremely joyful process. Just being alive becomes the greatest thing in your life. Right now, what is the greatest thing in your life? Please tell me. You're alive right now, isn't it so? Yes or no? Tell me clearly, otherwise I'm going to bless you. What is the greatest thing in your life right now? Being alive, isn't it? Everything else is secondary or no? So, just if you experience your aliveness, this is the greatest phenomenon that's happening in the universe right now. If you become joyful, everything, every breath will keep you engaged and beautiful. What you want to do in the world is according to your competence and inclinations. Everybody need not do same amount of work. Everybody will do according to their thing, but joyfully. The fundamental thing is, you need to understand, you cannot pursue joy because it's not out there. If you are not joyful, you must stop and turn inward. Not run against with something, because that's not going to happen. That is not the direction in which it is, isn't it? So, you want to try out everything. What's on your mind, huh? People have so many things on their mind in pursuit of happiness, but happiness is not coming. Every day it's getting postponed to the next day, isn't it? Human beings are suffering their lives not because there is something wrong with their life. See, there are only two kinds of suffering: physical suffering, mental suffering. Yes or no? Do you know some other kind of suffering? No. Physical suffering. When is the last time that somebody came and stabbed you? When is the last time? No? You never got stabbed? That's good. That speaks that we are living in a good nation. Yes? Maybe when you were in school, somebody poked you with a pin. Did they? Or they ignored you? Not good. So I am saying, how much of your suffering is coming to you from outside? Not even 0.0001%, isn't it? Yes or no? Rest is all on self-help. Because you do not know how to manage your mind, you do not know how to manage your emotion, you do not know how to manage your chemistry or your energies, everything happening by accident. Now torture is happening. Don't think only because you have to take an examination you're in suffering. Those who pass the examinations also are in suffering. Those who got the great job that you're thinking of also are in suffering. Those who got retired also in suffering. See, show me one thing. Tell me one thing that human beings are not suffering. If they are poor, they suffer their poverty. You make them rich, they suffer the taxes. They are not educated, they suffer that. You put them into school, endless suffering. They are not married, they suffer that. You get them married. I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything, okay? No children, they suffer that. You give them children, daily suffering. Tell me one thing that they're not suffering. So what you need to understand is, you are not suffering life, you're suffering your own mind. An intelligence which is supposed to work for you, unfortunately is working against you. If your intelligence works against you, you are a finished case. Yes or no? Somebody is against you, we can manage them. Your own intelligence against you, it's like my hand pops up and plucks my eyeballs out. What to do with this? Somebody else tries to do it, I will defend myself. Now my own hands will pluck my eyeballs out, what to do? Is there a defense, I'm asking? Is there a defense against this? No. Please tell me. We already told you and you already said, from outside very little suffering is coming, isn't it? Rest is all self-help. At the most, the worst thing that bit you in the last 10 years is a mosquito. Yes or no? No greater injury than that has happened to you. But rest is on self-help daily. Anything you can suffer. Somebody looked at you like this, you can suffer that. Someone was supposed to look at you and they did not look at you. You can suffer that. Somebody said something, you can suffer that. Someone was supposed to say something and they did not say it. How much suffering? So I am saying you are not suffering some great things. All that's happening is your thought, your emotion, your energies, your chemistry, not following instructions that you give, not taking instructions from you. This is the first thing you have to do. that this body and this mind takes instructions from you. For this, there is a system of doing it. There is an entire system that we are now calling as inner engineering, that you engineer yourself the way you want yourself to be. If your body and your mind does not take instructions from you, your chances of success in life are poor. If it happens, it's an accident. Yes? Because it is only in harnessing this body, it is only in harnessing this mind that you can do something that you want to do, isn't it? If these two don't take instructions from you, you are an accidental disaster. Yes or no? You may not become a disaster because there is compassion around you, but the fear of becoming a disaster, every day people wake up in fear and go to sleep in fear. Anxiety, people think this is normal. After all, I am human. When you refer to the word human from now on, talk about the potential of being human, the immensity of being human. Human being is the only one who can create the situations that they want. Every other creature adapts to what is there. But we are capable of creating what we want. Instead of identifying with the immensity of being human, people always use the word human with the frailties, with the failures, with the limitations. I am only human means what? I am only a pathetic creature. No, this is a tremendous potential. If you just learn as much as how to hold your body, how to breathe, how to keep this, there are many possibilities. You're too young for this, but if you had seen our televisions in late 70s and 80s, there used to be a bunch of aluminum tubes on top of our homes, and we are watching our great television, which is a one-channel wonder, our favorite program, because it's the only program. And we're watching this, suddenly, little wind, it goes boop, boop, boop. Then we go up on the terrace, doesn't work, then slowly, like this. Suddenly the world again pours into the sitting room. Just a bunch of aluminum tubes, they can perceive. This is the most sophisticated gadget upon this planet. Do you agree with me? This human mechanism, do you agree with me? If you just learn to hold this right, breathe right, sit right, stand right, if you get the geometry of this body right, if you align the geometry of this body with the cosmic geometry, you can download the cosmos. That is what this is capable of. As young people, you must explore this to see that everybody gets some aspect of this. This is why the most visionary step that our Prime Minister took in the last 2 years is declaring the International Yoga Day. Most people don't understand what this means. This means the entire world will have the capability to take the tools of transformation into their hands. As a part of this year, last year on the International Yoga Day, just the Isha Foundation taught yoga in over 100,000 locations across the globe. This year, we decided we'll focus on the children because in our country we're reaching a place and a time when children are committing suicide. If children commit suicide, that means we've gone fundamentally wrong. Yes or no? When little children want to die, that means somewhere we have gone completely off the track. So this year, we wanted to touch 10,000 schools across India. But last 1 week I travelled 5 states. Every chief minister has been bindas. They are more enthusiastic than I've ever seen them because they all see what's happening. It looks like we are going to touch well over 10,000 schools. Today I'm meeting your chief minister and probably we'll do it in Gujarat also. Right now Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Madhya Pradesh, all these states have come with full enthusiasm. We are training the school teachers to make sure everybody has. Yoga is not some exercise. This is the technology of well-being. Just a simple thing, how to sit If you just learn how to sit and how to breathe, you will see phenomenal things will happen to you. You have your life ahead of you, it is very important. This is the time to pick up tools of self-transformation. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you and wish you all the best for every one of you. Don't aspire to take this job or that job. Aspire to become a great human being. In that, whatever responsibilities come our way, let's fulfill that. Thank you very much. All the best for you.